What's good, YouTube? This is the only big green Yugioh, and I'm back again with another deck profile. And this deck profile is going to be of Zombie Dad, and it is for Tele-Dad format. This deck is very fun, and it can be pretty explosive, and also throw the opponent a little loop whenever you play this, because obviously they're expecting Tele-Dad in this format. Starting off, triple Goblin Zombie. Goblin Zombie, whenever it inflicts battle damage, the opponent sends the top card of their deck to the graveyard. The downside about that effect is it is mandatory, and obviously in the mirror match that could help the opponent out. Also in like Light Sworn matchups that can help the opponent out as well. But the good thing about this card is whenever it's sent from the field to the graveyard, you can add to hand any zombie monster with 1200 or less defense from your deck. So literally any zombie monster in the deck, including himself. Triple Mizuki. Mizuki, whenever he's in the graveyard, you can banish him and then special summon a zombie monster. So obviously that's an insane effect because you can loop things like Plague Spreader and Zombie Master. And I guess in a way it's kind of good, but at the same time it sucks. You can get Mizuki off of Mizuki, which you don't want to do, but if you're put in that situation to do that, that is an option. Speaking of Plague Spreader, there is the triple Plague Spreader. You can return a card from your hand to the top of the deck to special summon him, and then whenever he leaves the field, he's banished instead of going to the grave. Which, again, you don't have to worry too much about that because you play Mizuki, and you also play like triple Plague Spreader. Double Zombie Master. Zombie Master, you can send a monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon a zombie monster. So, like, the optimal play here would be to send Mizuki from your hand to bring back a Plague Spreader zombie, and then sync up into a level 6, banish that Mizuki, bring back your Zombie Master, and then either return a card from your hand to the top of the deck to summon back Plague Spreader if you don't have another monster, or if you have another monster, you can send that monster to just bring back Plague Spreader with Zombie Master again, and it basically just starts creating a loop. The last zombie of the deck, Spirit Reaper. Can't be destroyed by battle. Obviously, whenever he's targeted by a card effect, he's destroyed. And then whenever he inflicts direct damage, you get to rip a card out of your opponent's hand at random. On to the Dad part of the deck. Double Dad. If you have exactly 3 darks in the grave, you can special summon him, and then you can banish a dark from your grave to pop a card on the field. The crazy thing about this card is priority was around steal. So if the opponent like Bottomless Trap Hold, or if he gets like Phoenix Wing Wind Blast, you can still decide if you want to pop a card or not pop a card. Triple Krebons. Krebons is obviously another tool where he can be summoned out with E-Telly, so you don't have to waste your normal summon for him. You can pay 800 life points whenever he's targeted for attack to negate the attack, so you can also stall up with him. The last monster in the deck, one Sangan. Whenever he's sent from the field to the graveyard, add to hand any monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck. Basically, you're probably going to want to go after Zombie or Goblin Zombie most of the time with this card. Starting off for the spell cards, triple Lure of Darkness, draw 2 cards, and then banish a dark from your hand, and if you can't, you have to discard your hand. Double Book of Life, you banish a card or banish a monster from your opponent's graveyard to then special summon a zombie monster from your graveyard. And then 1 Monster Reborn, slightly better Book of Life. Or not slightly better, like a way better Book of Life. And then triple E-Telly just for your Krebons. You can either special summon Krebons from your deck or your hand, and then he's banished in the end phase. But most of the time, you're synchro summoning with him, so he won't be sticking around for that long. Triple Burial from a different dimension, just allowing you to keep looping your Malies and your Plague Spreaders. The back row removal for the format, the 1 of Heavy, the 1 of MST. The 1 Brain Control, and then the best card in the deck, like not even just spell card, best card in the deck by far, Card of Safe Return. Whenever a monster is first summoned from your graveyard, you draw a card. So as you guys were seeing earlier when I was showing you the pitch and the summon back, you're constantly drawing off of every single one of those. So let's say you happen to draw into a burial from the different dimension. you can then restart the loop up again. Or let's say you draw into like a Book of Life or a Monster Reborn, you can continue to loop. This card is just absolutely insane. And an even crazier feeling is when you draw into Card of Safe Return off of Card of Safe Return. If you're that good, only like elite Yu-Gi-Oh players can pull that off. Triple Solemn Judgment for the starting of the trap cards. Obviously, pay half your life points, negate the summon of a monster or a spell trap activation. This card, again, is like really needed because there are so many like 1 cards that can just blow you out in this format. Like Crush Card can be a blowout. Dark Arm Dragon can be a blowout. Royal Oppression can be a blowout. Speaking of Crush Card Virus, like I was saying in my other video with Glad Beast, Sangin plus this is the nuttiest thing ever. Like, that's just the definition of sacking your opponent. It is just insane. And again, even though this is the eroded version of the card, in this format, we were playing with the pre-eroded version, so we're playing with the good Crush Card Virus, not this one. Final card in the deck, Phoenix Wing Wind Blast. Pitch a card from your hand, spin a card on the field back to the top of the deck. Obviously, pitching Mizuki or Plague Spreader Zombie off of this card feels so amazing. And like this card, you can even use this card, not necessarily to gain advantage onto the opponent, but you can even use this card to just get something in the graveyard that you need in the graveyard for a play. So it has like multiple features in this deck. It's more than just a control piece in this deck. And then on to the synchros. I go a bit insane with like my extra deck, so I'll just show you my extra deck real quick, and you can just pick cards from this extra deck that you think you would like. I would say 2 magical android, or maybe 1 to 2 android would be fine with this deck. And then for the 6s that were good in this format, triple Yugioh Guardian. Yugioh Guardian is definitely a must-have at 3, or else you're just crazy. Yugioh Guardian is not only like one of the best level 6s, but maybe the best synchro of this format other than Stardust Dragon. And then Tempest Magician, which obviously you can't really make in this deck because you have to have a spellcaster monster to do it. But like in the Lightsworn matchup, if you wanted to be like cool or cheeky, you can side deck this card for like the Lightsworn matchup. So you can brain control their Lilas and then sync away with their Lila and your Plague Spreader to make a Tempest Magician and then start pitching away Mallies. So this is more of like a tech option than a must-have. Iron Chain Dragon, you really don't have to play this if you don't want to. It's mainly just used for like rank 6 fodder to get in, or not rank 6, level 6 fodder to get into your level 8 synchros. And then these 2, I definitely would recommend playing 1 of each. Both of these take Plague Spreader Zombie, obviously, and then Zombie Monsters. So it is insane. And Doom Kaiser especially is crazy, especially like in the mirror match, because you can summon him and then take the opponent's Plague Spreader from their grave, summon it, and then immediately go into a level 8. So Zombie Master in the mirror match, if you're playing this card, essentially becomes a 1-card Stardust Dragon or just a 1-card Sync 8. And then Black Rose. To be honest, you probably only need 1 Black Rose, but you could play 2 if you want. Psychic Life Transfer, this is another card kind of like with Tempest Magician, which you don't have to play it. It's more of just a tech option if you're playing like a magical android, but android's already pretty hard to make in this deck to begin with, and it's just not really that viable. But hey, it's still like another option. And then this guy, again, you also can't make this guy because of lights. So this is more of a tech option for if you're like facing a lot of Lightsworn players. And then, again, best synchro in the format other than Yugioh Guardian, Stardust Dragon. Definitely a mandatory 2 of, if not even 3. And then Red Dragon Archfiend. You probably could get away with playing 1, but I wouldn't play any more than 2. 1 Colossal Fighter, 1 is all you need if you are wanting to play it. And then 2 Archfiend. 1 is all you really need, but you could play 2 if you want. And then a cool tech that I actually would suggest playing, not necessarily Heraclinos, but more like playing 1 Geyserus. You can brain, and like if you have brain control and Monster Reborn like somehow at the same time in your hand in the Glad Beast matchup, you can like reborn or brain one of their bestiaries, and then basically reborn or brain another Glad Beast monster and tag into your own Geyserus. A lot of, if you actually look, like go on Yu-Gi-Oh top decks, which is where I get a lot of these old format ideas from, you can go back and look at topping history, and there were decks like just playing Geyserus for this reason specifically. So Geyserus is another cool tech, like with Tempest Magician. If you're facing a lot of like Lightsworn, where is Tempest Magician? There it is. It's like if you're facing a lot of Lightsworn players, this is an insane tech as well. So like these are like the 2 cool techs that I would recommend playing if you have the extra deck space. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This has been the Only Big Green Yu-Gi-Oh, and I'm signing